maneuverability and an additional fuel tank. Both aircraft were put into service at the end of 1940, but only 200 of the MiG-1s were ever made. The more numerous MiG-3 had a service ceiling of almost 40,000 feet, a range of 780 miles, and was armed with one 12.7mm machine gun and two smaller ones. Although the production of Mikoyan's planes increased rapidly throughout 1941, by the time of Russia's entry into the war, the obsolete Polikarpov planes still greatly outnumbered the MiGs. The I-16s would become an easy prey for the experienced Goering aces. The German invasion began on June the 22nd with massive Luftwaffe bombing raids. Airfields were primary targets. Airstrips and ground installations were wrecked. Among the hundreds of Soviet planes destroyed on the ground were many brand new MiGs never flown in combat. The air war proved that the Air Force pilots had not yet adequately mastered the MiGs. The fighters required new flying skills and greater accuracy from airmen accustomed to the simpler and slower Polikarpov planes. Yet unquestionably, aces could fight and win in their MiGs. Two special MiG-3 regiments formed exclusively from test pilots of the Air Force Research Institute were famous for their record kills. The regiments were the creation of test pilot Stepan Suprun, who commanded one of them personally. Brilliant ace Pyotr Stefanovsky headed the other. In late June 1941, these formations flew to the front. Suprun was shot down and killed after 4 days of combat. He was succeeded by his aide, Konstantin Kokinaki. For test pilots, with their extraordinary flying ability, the 109s were easy targets, especially at medium and high altitudes. But Soviet airmen noticed the MiG-3's serious liabilities. It had weaker firepower than the 109 and was slower at low altitudes. Luftwaffe pilots began to engage the MiGs in low-altitude combat, where they held a crucial advantage. Squadrons of MiG-3s were assigned to defend major Soviet cities against the incessant Nazi bombing raids. The MiG pilots found their planes were much more effective against bombers than against the 109s. The MiG's high service ceiling and rate of climb were decisive in night interceptor missions. The Mikoyan planes were responsible for more than half of the Luftwaffe bombers shot down over Moscow and Leningrad. One of the best Soviet aces, Alexander Pokrishkin, made his first kill in a MiG-3. In autumn 1941, as the Germans approached Moscow, the Mikoyan factory was relocated to Kuibyshev on the Volga. Production was resumed, only to be halted in December, when Stalin ordered the engine manufacturing plant for the MiG-3s to convert to produce engines for his favorite aircraft, the Il-2 ground attack plane. "3,200 MiGs had been produced by that time. Simple to repair and maintain, some of them remained in service until 1943, flying in combat in Moldova, the Kuban, and the Crimea. In March 1942, the Mikoyan Bureau was given several old industrial buildings in Moscow. The construction of the new facilities began in April. Despite the difficulties caused by the two relocations, Mikoyan and his engineers continued their work on new and original